Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversation. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
I wish I could make my front tooth go when I hit that bell, like they do on that commercial, about potty mouth, clean it up. That would be so cool. I need a filter. Somebody create it. Welcome to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I am still hoping that they will revive the Jeffersons on Broadway so I can audition clearly for Louise Jefferson, Wheezy, because I'm still channeling her a little bit, but I'm getting there thanks to you all and all of your love and support and all that good juju I can feel coming from you. Why is it so wonderful to me that we come together here every day? Because clearly we are fulfilling one of the greatest promises available, that one which guarantees us that when two or more of us comes together and we are united in that mindset, heart set, and soul set, which is to be of service to each other and the rest of the world. Wonderful, wonderful miracles, magic. It happens. And today's illuminated conversation is going to be no different. But I got to give a shout out to my sidekick. She's my bestie. She's here every day, has been for 6 years. Lucy McGillicuddy Ricardo. Good morning to you. Yes, still working my way through this baby. Oh my God. I know some of you still out there read those Harlequin romances and said, nope, it's me and Lucy. I'm just, look, okay, clearly. Now, I know I finally got my dolls. Only took 40 years till it was okay. I wonder where those other 6 Barbies I buried when I was 7. I gotta go and check that out. Listen, when I was a kid, you guys know the story. You know, I went the Goldcast video. Thank you, Goldcast. Now registered, certified rather. They told me quit saying registered. It's certified at 40 million views. Thank you, God. Thank you, world, and thank all of you. The reason that's so important to me, it's not the number. It's that it just tells me that people are interested in change. And when I say that, because there's so many broken pieces, we all know that to the foster care. World. I call it the underground roulette world of foster care because you never know when you spin it what you're going to get. So much has changed, but still there are things that need change, of course, as in everything. That's why we get up every day, right? So today, my guest, Rob Scheer, you guys probably will recognize him. Oh, he looks familiar. Yeah, that's because Ellen went to his house. Hashtag color me jealous. And interviewed his wonderful family, Rob's husband, and now I don't know what the kid count was then, but I know they have 5 kids now. Just I'm just gonna say, and then Rob has his own story that led to it. But when I look at them, it makes me so happy from all corners of my soul because I still run into people that are in their 30s and 40s that say, you know, I still today wish that I could be adopted. And at first I was like, what? Who gonna adopt your grown ass? Right. But I had a woman reach out to me, a follower, not kidding, just a year ago. It was serious as a heart attack. Asked Brian and I if we would consider adopting her. And I thought about it. Not. I'm just saying. I mean, I want a kid, but not a 50-year-old. I'm just saying, you know, but she understood. But we had a conversation about that. And, you know, it's a feeling of belonging. It's that forever everything, not just home, but that forever everything that it provides. And these two, well, Rob and his husband have done it for 5 wonderful kids. And we want to get him in here. So I'm just going to get, oh, yeah, I told him I'd get him in here early. So I'm a little early, 2 minutes. You guys, when someone's here for the first time, we kind of go overboard. You know how we do it. Put some hearts on the screen. It's our way of applauding. But more importantly, share this out right now and bless someone like you're going to be blessed. And throw some hearts on the screen, but throw your heart into this illuminated conversation because here he comes, my good friend, Rob Scheer. Hi, Rob. How are you?
Well, good morning, Lauren. I will have to tell you, I am so excited to have this conversation with you. I've been very, very lucky to have been on probably almost everybody's couch in ways we were just going to say I'm sitting and talking. But this one, I have been so looking forward to having this conversation. Yes.
Me too.
I am such a fan of yours.
Everything you're saying about me, I'm secretly saying about you. And it's true. I'm telling you, I'm Rob. I think it's just wonderful. You and your husband did it right. And you did it fast. You know, you did. And because Brian and I, my husband, we said our lives are so busy. But no matter how happy we become, we always go, you know, I wish we would have met earlier so we could have had what you have. So say hello to everybody. I'd like you to tell them where you are in the world and just give them the Reader's Digest version. You're not the kind of guy I like to read a bio on. I'd like to hear it from you. I'm going to dip out for a second and then I'll come back in and we'll get started.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Well, first of all, you know, I have the best title in the world. It's not founder of an international organization or a CEO. I have the title of dad. And it's something that I've always wanted. See, my story doesn't start like most of yours, probably. I am the youngest of 10 children. I have been in and out of the foster care system up until the age of 12, when all of a sudden my parents died. And I walked up to my very first home carrying a trash bag. And I'll never forget it. At that point, I had already started to lose my brothers and sisters to incarceration, teenage pregnancy, drug addiction, suicide, all of those things that they tend to label us to do because you have put the F word in front of our name. For me, I wanted it to be different. I wanted to be that child that you said I love, I'm proud of. See, for me as a young kid, I don't remember a picture on the wall. I don't remember a Christmas tree, and I sure do not remember a birthday cake. But one of the saddest things is I don't ever remember my mom and dad ever looking at me and saying, I love you. That weighed heavy on my heart. But for me, I knew that if I got an education, that it would change everything. So every day I got up, every day I would vacuum the house before my foster parents asked me to, and I'd watch their biological children. And then the fall of 1984 rolled around. I was actually a senior in high school. I was going to be the very first kid to graduate high school from my family. See, only 54% of kids in foster care actually graduate from high school. And knowing that I was one of those kids, I was so excited. But little did I know that, Lauren, when I walked into that house on that fall day in 1984, this was sitting at the
Oh,
front door waiting for me.
yeah.
This. It was filled with my belongings, and my foster parents informed me that because I was no longer going to receive a check, that I could no longer live there. And like 30,000 children in our country, and 70% of them will end up just like I did, homeless. And I
Mhm.
literally lived on the streets right outside of our nation's capital for my entire rest of my senior year of high school, Lauren. It was the hardest thing I'd ever done in my life.
Mhm.
Walking through the schools, hoping the kids wouldn't remind me of the holes in my shoes because I could feel the water coming through. Or the fact that, yes, I knew that I smelled because I had nowhere to shower. But I just knew that if I kept going to school, if I got that piece of paper, that diploma that they tell you that changes your life,
That's what they
was
tell you.
yes, that it would actually help change my life. And then May of 1985, the day came. I actually made it. That scrawny kid with long hair and awful teeth and, no friends. I had a cap and gown on and I proceeded to walk across the stage. And Lauren, as I was walking, I heard all of these people clapping and screaming for all of these other kids. And then they called my name.
Mm.
Silence. Silence. See, my community did exactly what they had been taught to do. They had made this bag define me, that I was invisible, I was disposable, and that I did not matter. I left that auditorium and I went back to the back parking lot. I didn't even go back to my seat. And I remember sitting on the curb, and I remember for the first time I really cried. I cried for my biological parents. I don't care how bad the abuse was and how many cigarettes my father would put out on me. I wanted to feel that cherry of that cigarette so bad just because then I would know he was there. And then I
Mhm.
cried for my foster parents. How could they have given up on me? And then I cried for you, for all of those who are watching, my community, my community. And so for me, I walked the streets for a couple of more weeks. And as you know, Lauren, in foster care, we have three choices, and that is it. Choice number one, give up. Don't think that suicide did not cross my mind many, many times.
No.
Choice number two, give in. Give in. Become a statistic as we do as the 80% of prisoners who are in our prison cell right now were in foster care or touched by foster care. Or number three, which is what I chose to do, which is to give it all I got. So I joined the United States Navy. I became one of the most successful businessmen in the DC area, and life was amazing. And then 4 out of my 5 babies who are here behind me on my wall arrived in my home. And Lauren, when they arrived carrying this garbage bag.
Mhm.
So yeah, that journey has been crazy.
Boy, you. Oh, I ain't gonna say. I'm glad I don't ever be on stage next to you. I'm just saying. All right. When is Rob gonna be?
Where's what?
I'll go last. I'm just kidding. Yep. I'll just say, but you know what? Not because of any of you guys thinking the wrong thing there. I'm gonna tell you why. I'm really learning something about myself right now because I'm used to telling that story through my lens. But it's different when you hear the exact same story coming back at you. And I found myself having to turn the magnet backwards to put that force field between me and it because I was feeling, ooh, I don't want to get triggered on air. I don't want to get triggered, seriously. And I say that because it's like that piece of toilet paper that's stuck on your shoe when you're going through the airport and you don't know it's on there till you get ready to go in. And I've been walking around with this toilet paper hanging on my shoe and ain't nobody said nothing. It's like you just can't get it off, a sticky piece of gum on a hot sidewalk, if you will. Can I get an amen? Because I'm going to tell you something right now. I know there are those out there. No, you didn't go through foster care, but it's not about foster. It doesn't matter where this happens. It happens everywhere. Think about that. Switch those words around. So today, I don't want you tuning out thinking, well, doesn't have anything to do with me. You know what? Go to the laundromat. I feel that when I used to have to go to the laundromat back in those apartment days, and I'd see people with trash bags, and I didn't know if I should be pissed off or what, because I was like, why would you pick up a trash bag to put your own clothes in? Get a paper bag, something, get a suitcase, anything. So I just want you all to know we are more alike. We're not trying to point out differences. We're trying to come together on the samenesses. And I just made that word up, and you can do that at 60. So there you go. There you go. So listen, I remember that. I remember that. See, the difference between our foster bag inauguration, our foster care trash bag was somebody put your stuff in yours. They handed me an empty one. Gave me 20 minutes. And you guys have heard me say this before. Before I could even get to the meaning of the trash bag, because it was already working and seeping in, it was, what do you put in there? How do I put my most prized possessions as a kid in this trash bag? How can anyone think it's okay to associate anything that's associated with trash to a child? Who came up with this, right? And what about this, Rob? Remember those caseworkers that didn't even want your bags in the car with them? They put, because they thought it would shake that stuff out because the people might have roaches. Well, why would you leave me in a place with roaches?
Well, first of all, my friend, let's talk about the fact that how many times the social workers never even showed up. So, back in the time when you and I look at it nowadays compared to where you and I were, they stuck you in a system. And if you were not one of those, quote, bad kids where you were shaking up everything, they didn't come and see you. They didn't come and check on you because they weren't getting calls saying that you were belligerent or running away or fighting. And so I was one of those kids that just kept my nose to the ground and was just like, I didn't want anyone to know. And so, yeah, like I said, the system, by the way, let's really talk about this though, Lauren. The system is not broken. Okay, let's all understand something.
It's not.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not. Lauren, the system is shattered. It's shattered. And let me tell you the difference. See, when something is broken, okay, my kids, they will bring it to their dad and we can take super glue and we can put it back together, okay?
Mm-hmm.
When something is absolutely shattered, it has to be rebuilt. And the foster care system in the United States, and by the way, we're in the UK as well with our organization. It's the exact same way. It has to be rebuilt from the ground up. No other way is this going to work unless we rebuild the foster care system.
So, okay. So what are we gonna? I'm speaking through their lens. I'm trying to anyway. For those who hear it and know about it, it's just like homeless people. You hear about it, you know about it, but it doesn't mean you're doing something. Yeah. So let's say, where do we meet? Where do we go first? Where do we meet?
Well, I think the very first thing we must do is we must educate our community. And let's all understand something as we're watching this show. Your community, it is not, and I repeat, it is not your zip code. That is not your community.
Well, that's a good one.
Your community is your human race. So what affects people in my little town of Darnestown, Maryland, affects people in Atlanta, Georgia, which affects people in Austin, Texas, which affects people in San Francisco. We must understand as a human race, everything affects each other. That's the first thing we have to realize.
Interconnection, absolutely.
You know, the second thing that we must do, we have got to change our vocabulary. Change our vocabulary. First of all, think about it for a moment, Lauren, and all of your viewers and listeners. You know, when you say the word foster, okay, the very first thing you think about is what did that kid do to get to where he's at today? And we must understand children enter foster care because of a choice someone else made.
Yeah.
Now, when I say the word kid, child, baby, your heart starts to get warm. You know,
Go on.
It starts to get warm. But
Yeah.
when you put foster in front of it, it's automatically bad. And by the way, people need to know there is no such thing as a bad child. It's only a child that needs to be redirected. Only a child that needs to be redirected. And so for my family and for our organization, our biggest goal is to try to help people change their vocabulary and
Scheer, the founder of Comfort Cases.
Oh, wait.
Stop calling them foster children. We call them children in foster care. Because if you say child first, your heart warms.
Wait. Where are you? There you are. Okay.
I'm right here, my friend.
Right. Look, I'm like, there's so much. Here comes a clever little piece to unpack. Look at the screen. Get it? See? Still got it.
I love it.
Right. Anyway, I'm just playing. Anyway, other things. I want you to take a second and just name your children. I'm going to take this out for a minute. Wait, am I? That's the video. Let me just show the video real quick.
You got it. Let's do it.
Comfort cases, you guys. Instead of trash bag, a comfort case. Now, how long does it take you to figure out that situation has just improved immensely just by changing the vocabulary, just like Rob said? Look how easy that was, right? So let's take a look at what this is all about.
First of all, I want to say thank you.
Wait. I hate when
it's Rob Scheer, the founder of Comfort Cases. And first of all, I want to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time out that you've taken out to raise money to build Comfort Cases. Reach for a case. You know, I absolutely love the name of that. My friend's daughter, when she told me that name, I was like, yes! And guess what? We have about 10 days left. 10 days for you to go on and make a donation, get your friends to make a donation, your grandparents, your neighbors, people from your church, your synagogue, your temples, anybody. $5, $10, $30, $100. Let me tell you something. 8 years ago, never would I have ever thought that we have sent over 150,000 cases out and that we would have opened up an office in the United Kingdom. But how did we do that? Because of amazing ambassadors like you, amazing humans who have stepped up and said, no child will ever carry a trash bag on our watch. So, you got time. You still have time to just knock those goals out. And by the way, 1 penny adds up to 2 pennies. So no matter what you do this time, we have a next year as well and the year after that. But this year, I know you're going to do it. I know that you're going to make a difference because guess what? You already have. So thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you from all the Comfort Cases family. And welcome to the family, by the way, because you are now part of it. Have a great day.
Wow.
Well, I know. Listen,
I felt like I was Jerry Lewis from those telethons back in the day. You and I used to stay up and watch.
That's all right. You know, you got the job done, and I just love it. Tell us really. Let's get started on Comfort Cases for a minute.
Oh my gosh!
Tell us give us the origin story.
When
did it start? And I want to know. Don't leave this out. How many cases have you actually changed lives
Wow.
through?
Yeah, because that video is a couple of years old, by the way. So let me tell you something. The craziest part is I'm a banker by trade. I am a .com guy, and .coms, I have to tell you like it is, and it's very true. We're takers, okay? And so when the opportunity for me to start a .org, which by the way are givers, I was like, are you crazy? But what I did is I looked at my children 10 years ago, and at that time we only had 4 children. My daughter Amaya, my son Grayson, my son Makai, and my son Tristan. And I looked at them and I realized that since they had been with us when they arrived at the age of 4, 2, 2, and 6 months, they were really living a privileged life. They were going to private schools, wearing designer clothes, traveling the world on vacation. And I looked at my husband and I said to him, what are we teaching our children? Are we teaching our children that the material things that we have within our lives is truly what makes us up? Or should we be teaching our children to lead by example, to show them that their legacy is not, it is not what they have, but their legacy is what they give. And so we gathered some members of our church. And by the way, all of you listeners, gay people are religious too. And we, I know that's shocking. We gathered some of our local politicians, my senior staff. I have companies all over the country. And I told them my story about the 12-year-old little boy who carried the trash bag with all the torn and tattered clothes. And then I told them the fact of when my children arrived on their very first night, the fact that my daughter at the age of 4 was the saddest little girl until she walked into her new bedroom, and laying on the bed, my husband had laid 2 new nightgowns. And she walked over, she picked up one of the nightgowns, she tore the tag off, and she turned around and she smiled at me for the very first time. And I said, Amaya, why are you smiling? And she said, Mr. Rob, I've never owned a new nightgown before. See, that's just not acceptable.
Right.
I wanted to make sure that every child got their own lotion, their own shampoo, their own conditioner, and their own bar of soap.
Thank you.
By the way, when you walk into a home, when you're a child in foster care, you walk into a stranger's home. And so if one person out there who's watching or listening to this, there's not a person that I've ever met, thousands and thousands of people, that would walk into a hotel and allow the bar soap from the people before them, and they would get in the shower and use that.
And use it.
Do that. It's called dignity. So we want to make sure they have that. You know what, Lauren? We also want to make sure that every child gets their own toothbrush and toothpaste. And by the way, my beautiful pearly whites and my teeth are beautiful. They cost me an arm and a leg.
I was going to say.
They cost me an arm and a leg.
Right. Hobble.
Yeah.
Hobble.
Yeah.
I'll hobble for some perfect teeth.
Yeah, foster care never did anything to help me with my teeth.
Never.
So, no. And
they don't even take you to the dentist.
Exactly. So I wanted to make sure that they all had that. I then wanted to make sure that every kid had an activity, because we know that over 90% of our children enter the system in the back of a police cruiser. I wanted every child to have a book, because I truly believe as an author, I wrote my book for 2 reasons. 1, love it in your mind. 2, love it in your heart. But the most flattering thing you could ever do for a book is pass it on. See, there's no such thing as a used book. It's only a book that's been loved. And then I wanted to make sure every kid got a stuffy, because I don't care whether you're a newborn or you're 55 like me. We all love a good stuffed animal. And then finally.
Clearly, I never had one. I didn't even know what you were talking about.
But I will tell you, Lauren, 10 years ago this year is when we packed our first case. And 10 years ago this year, my friend, look, you got your stuffy.
My husband gave me this when I was in the hospital getting my knee replaced.
And you know what? I have a stuffy that my son gave me that sits on my dresser because I don't remember having one either. But I will tell you, the last thing we put in the case, the last thing in the case is my son. My son, Grayson, was 15 years old. I mean, he was 5 at the time. He's 15 now. It was 10 years ago. He said, Daddy, we must put a blankie in every case. I said, a blankie? I said, these kids aren't cold. He said, no, Daddy. Every time they wrap themselves up in their blankie, they know we love them. Isn't that what we all want? We want to be loved. We want to know we matter. We're not disposable, and this does not define us. And with that, we packed a case and another and another and another. And yes, my friend, I'm here to tell you that in 10 years, we have delivered over 185,000 cases to all 50 states,
Get
DC,
out.
Puerto
I'm moving
Rico,
back
the
here.
United Kingdom. And we've done this as a 96% volunteer ran charity.
How much, Rob, does one comfort case? I want people to get the fiscal idea too, because then they can see the value in helping. So how much does one of these cases cost to put?
First of all, to let your viewers know, we do not charge our social workers for these cases. These cases are given free. Okay. So a social worker anywhere in the country, including the United Kingdom, can literally go to our website and they can order cases from birth up to the age of 19 with all of those items I said in there free.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That
Yeah.
the case needs to change
Yes.
as the
Yes.
child.
Yep.
Duh.
Yep. They get to pick the sizes of the pajamas. They get to choose it all, and they get it all for free. And the reason is because of people like you, your listeners who donate money, because the case cost us $55 to make, but we do not charge for those cases because you know what? I don't want an excuse of why you are not giving a child a comfort case on their first night. So we give every single one of them out free.
How do people that aren't involved in some type of a group or pipeline, if you will, the person just sitting there going, I know somebody that is in that situation right now, doesn't have any of that. I wonder if they would give me one or them one. What can they do?
So what they could do is reach out to comfortcases.org. They can email us at info@comfortcases.org. And we will arrange to make sure that cases are provided to the agency that is representing them.
Okay.
And one of the things, that I always hear people say this to me quite often, I don't have the money to donate. Listen, let me tell you something, what you do have. We all have the most valuable thing in the world, and that is our time. That is our time. It is the most valuable thing is time. And so what can we do? How about if one of the things that, and Lauren, you know this because you travel like I do, like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
We all go to these hotels and we always go to the hotels and we take the little lotions and
I
shampoos.
collect them. You need some?
Yes. And we bring them home. We put them in a drawer thinking we're going to use them, but we know we don't.
Nope.
Okay. Guess what?
I do the same thing.
We would love them. We belong to an organization called givebackbox.com. You can fill a box up to 79 pounds and it's only $15. So go through your neighborhood and collect all those things.
Yeah.
Go to your bookshelves and take your books off that you're no longer going to read. And by the way, nobody walks into anyone's house and says, "Ooh, look at all those books and look how smart you are." They don't care about that. Pass that book on. Send them to us, comfortcases.org.
Okay, and we're going to put all that information up on the screen. One thing before we go to break, I'm looking at these blankies, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know how you pull it off, but they look like they're homemade.
They're all. Everything. Let me tell you, people from all over the world send us hand-knit, crocheted, sewn quilts. All of that comes in. So you have to understand with our items that come in there's not a day going by. Here's a good example. Right now I'm in desperate need of crayons. Someone sent me a post stating that there were crayons for 25 cents at Walmart and Target. Guess what? Yesterday, I had literally over 500 boxes of crayons show up from people all over the country who sent crayons to us because they wanted to make sure that the crayons went into the comfort cases. Humans are good as long as you educate them.
There you go. Listen, when we come back, everybody, and there is still time to share this broadcast out. Bless someone in the manner you want to be blessed. I'm telling you, it works. Listen, when we return, got a couple more questions about the family dynamic and what is the most challenging piece of not only having 5 kids that once were in foster care, but what about when you have 4 of them that are of color, different than your own. We'll be back. Don't go away.
Hello, hello, hello. I have a question for you. Have you ever felt completely lost? You know, seeking purposeful direction that could and should propel your mission within your divine journey to that next level, but still it hasn't happened. Well, my name is Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm the founder of P3, the Journey Series. People come to me because they're wounded. Many are scared, and even there are those who are bruised simply because they feel that they are increasingly, for whatever reason, losing their ability to dream. Now, this P3 program is not for a person who's just looking to start a business, no, but rather for those of you out there who have been on your journey and you've been navigating within your divine purpose, but you still desire to elevate to that level that you have not reached yet. If this is appealing, if this describes you, then I want to have a chat with you. I want to hear your story. So use the link below to get registered for your free seat at P3, the Journey Series. And let's get started, one story at a time. I'll see you inside. Click the link.
There, welcome back to today's installment of Bathrobe Moments. I'm your host, Lauren Michaels Harris, and I'm so excited that we're spending this time here within this sacred space today. My guest today, your new friend, is Rob Scheer. And Rob, before the break, we talked about all kinds of things about the troubles in the broken system known as foster care. We talked about the trash bag versus comfort cases situation. And we heard a little of the origin story of your organization that is helping hundreds and thousands of kids with these cases that give them what they need and help maintain some sense of dignity. Now, I thought we could move into what we see behind you on the
My babies. My babies.
Yeah, here's what I want people to listen to. I want them to hear a lot of people don't feel that they're qualified to be a foster parent or to adopt. A lot of people can't get outside of the box to think of what kind of challenges might a person who adopts or even fosters a kid that does not look like them. What are some of the things you need to be strong with before you try to be strong for a child? Talk about that. It's not addressed as often as I think it should be, but I know
And you're right. You are 100% correct that it is not addressed the way it should be. And we also must realize the fact that the majority of children that are in foster care and the 120,000 that are waiting for a forever home, the majority of those children look like me. Okay. So let's understand
that.
And also let's not forget, I am a white privileged male. Okay. I'm a white privileged male. When I walk into Nordstrom's, they want to know my credit score. Okay. When my beautiful boy, with his dark skin, walks into Nordstrom's, they want to know what he's going to steal. Okay. So I'm telling you right now, as a father of 4 children of color, I have to raise them differently than I raised my oldest son, Alex, who, by the way, arrived at our home at the age of 18. So my babies had come to me at 4, 2, 2, and 6 months. But in 2019, my 5th child arrived at the age of 18. And I do have to parent him differently, because when I'm with my children of color, okay, I have to keep paperwork that shows that I am their father.
Yeah.
I have to remind them that if daddy gets pulled over by the police, you put your hands up on the dashboard.
Okay.
I'm telling you, have to be realistic. Now, the next thing that we must do as white parents, okay, when we decide to go into a interracial adoption, you must educate yourself, okay, because it is not true what people say. I don't want my children to be white. I want my children to love who they are for the color of their skin. That means we have had to take classes on hair. We have had to take classes on skin. We have had to take classes on music. We have had to make sure that in our home, which I am married to a saint, by the way, that in our home, there are people that look like our children, period. Okay? Just simple as that. So, so that's one of the things you can do. But I want people to realize that being a foster parent, being an adopted parent, it is being a parent. Every single thing you do is kind of hard, but the reward, okay? Let me tell you, as I've been sitting in this interview today, my friend, my son is blowing my phone up, and he's, and the reward, because I know what my son's calling me about. He wants to go to the mall, or he's just wants to, come to my office. But, being a dad is so rewarding. And by the way, I'm a dad to 5, 21, 18, 15, 14, and 13. I have 4 boys and 1 girl. And my girl is 18 years old. She just graduated from high school. And she knows for a fact she is my princess. And I tell her all the time that her dad and I, we are raising her to be the queen that she will be one day.
Amen to that. So, and just for the record, I know what you guys were thinking. Lauren, you can't relate to what Rob opened with, that he's a white privileged male. Yes, I can. I may not be one, but I play one on Facebook. I'm just saying. So there you go. I do. I feel your pain. Not. So anyway, so let's talk about this thing. Take me back. Give us an example. I believe in real time, real experience. Take me to an example when you came this close, when you could tell somebody was doing that thing that you should not do because we don't look like what you expect.
Oh.
When you saw your kid getting that thing, you're like, what in the hell? That.
Yeah.
It's different.
I can tell you. I'm going to tell you 2. I'm going to tell you 2 of them, my friend.
Oh, good.
Tell you, number 1, when we were all in a shopping center, and it was my husband and I and our children. We had just done the Ellen show, and someone had walked up to us and said, oh, your family is so beautiful. And I said, thank you. They said, we just don't understand it because we don't see any color whatsoever. We just see a loving family. I looked at this woman and I said, well, then you definitely do not see my 4 black kids that are standing right here. And she looked at me and I said, how could we not acknowledge the fact that my children are children of color, and they should be proud of the fact that they are children of color. And for you to say that you do not see color, then you do not see them.
Amen.
Yep.
Now, okay. So easily spoken to from the lens of the person who's done it. But let's go back to when you guys were, a lot of people are asking, well, did they choose children of color? Or did people say, here are the children of color? And are any of them biological siblings?
So we have 2 sets of siblings. So 13 years ago, my daughter Amaya, at the age of 4, arrived with her little brother Makai, who was 2. When we decided to adopt, we did not specify any race, gender. It didn't matter. We just wanted to be parents.
Right.
And then 3 months after Amaya and Makai arrived, my 2 boys arrived who were siblings, which was Grayson, he was 2, and his little brother Tristan, who was 6 months. And so all 4 of our children arrived. And by the way, we are in private adoptions, as in it's closed, but we truly believe that every child has a life story, and it's very important for them to know their biological family. So we do keep an open door policy in our home, as long as no one comes in and disrespects us, as long as they understand that we are their parents. Come and break bread at our table. Our table is large enough. And then in 2019, I was giving a speech because I've left my banking career and I'm now a public speaker. And I met a young boy. He was 18 years old in foster care and was getting ready to age out. And little would I know that 3 months later, Reese and I would adopt him. And so
Oh.
now he's 21, just finished his sophomore year in college.
I've seen some stuff on your page with him. Let
Oh,
me just ask you this. Um, you know, as you raise these kids and you see them developing into who they are, and you can also get a glimpse into who they can be. Um, what what would you say, Rob, about this part? Do you remember when people gave you warnings when you were putting it out there? We're considering, and they said, well, those kids are broken. And they say things like, well, most of them are special needs when all kids are special and all kids have needs. But they say these things to kind of discourage you, like, are you sure you know what you're getting into? Because yes, there is a lot of trauma. There is a lot of PTSD. So we talk about the beautifulness that we see behind us, but talk about the resilience, the grit that must come with this. You are my child no matter what. I'm saying this because there is a little issue in this country known as rehoming. And so, I just want to touch on that. Tell people what you know about that and how you process people that are able to do that. Because I don't even want to say anything because I don't want to cuss nobody out this morning. Go
well, I'll
ahead.
be more than happy to cuss somebody out,
Go
because the
ahead.
fact is that the fact that someone should ever rehome a child is the most disgusting thing. And by the way, they're the ones who deserve to go behind bars.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Because number one, we must understand that children who are coming to the foster care system, they are going to have trauma. I mean, come on. They have been yanked away from the
Ugh.
only parents they've known. We put them in home after home after home. We give them trash bags. We don't give them any type of therapy. There is
No.
no way that they're going to come out and be what you all think. And by the way, you can give birth to a child and they can have just as many problems.
Or more.
Okay. But I will
Right.
tell you this about resilience. Okay. My son, Makai, he arrived at my home at the age of 2. Social worker handed him to my husband and said, "Are you sure you want this one?" As if he was a piece of clothing. They
Right.
said he will never walk, he will never talk. He's autistic, and are you sure that you want to put any investment in this one? My husband looked at that social worker and said, "Makai needs to be loved." I will tell you right now, my son Makai, he is 15 years old now. He is an honor student. He runs, walks, loves, and understands the giving is what it's all about. So it's all bullshit. And excuse my language, but that is not true. Children are resilient. They are resilient.
Yeah.
And if you give them a foundation of unconditional love, you want to talk about home, that's what parents are to do. Let me tell you, I have another son. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The things that he has put my husband and I through. Guess what? I talked to him yesterday. I said, listen, there's nothing you can say or nothing you can do that's going to let me ever change the fact I love you.
Amen.
I am your father, and I will always be your father, and this will always be your home. So you know what? Let me tell you something. If you don't have the tough skin to be able to be a parent, and like I said, I don't care how you become a parent. You do not know what and who you're going to receive, but what you do know is that you can give them the love that they need.
Amen. I'm sitting. You know what I just wrote down? That's because I'm gonna get it, but I don't know how yet. I want to know which name have you chosen for when the grandkids start coming? Will you be known as Papa, Grandpa, or Papa?
First of all, my youngest is 13. My oldest, so I got to tell you something. My oldest son is getting ready to study abroad in London. My kids I'm very lucky. My kids, and by the way, all of them done therapy. all of them have come through trauma. All of them have gone to all the things. So don't think that they all of a sudden came to this, new home and all these new found
Everything's
kids.
perfect now.
No, didn't happen that way. It has been work. And by the way, I go to my therapist every Monday, and I remind him every single Monday the fact that he has helped me get through some major times. But what do I want them to call me? I just want my kids to get an education first before they even bring in a baby.
You gotta put it out there.
But I'm okay with Papa. I'm okay. I'm
I
okay
like
with
Papa too.
Yeah, I'm okay with Papa. My kids call their grandfather Papa. My husband's parents have been married 54 years. And by the way, I know time is cutting short, but I got to tell you about my husband. My
Please.
husband and I have been together over 18 years. My husband is very well educated, has his master's, grew up in the Midwest. His parents have been married for 50 some years. And he gave everything up to be the hardest job in the world, which is a stay-at-home dad. And so he has been a stay-at-home dad for the last 12 years, raising our babies. And I always laugh all the time because, Lauren, I will tell you, as a kid grew up in foster care who barely made it out of high school, I don't even know the difference between there, and there. So,
barely. Wait, is that BARE or BEARLY? See, I'm just saying. Birds of a feather.
So my husband, I tell you what, he makes me the man I am today.
Aw.
And he is my biggest supporter, but also my hardest critic. And I could not be where I'm at today. Let me tell you, when my book came out and I was going on a book tour, I went home and I said to my husband, I had to take a leave of absence from my company to go on this nationwide book tour. And he said, "You do know you're the breadwinner of the family, right?" And I was like, I know that, honey. And he was like, you know what? He was like, "You have supported our family all these years." He was like, "I know you'll continue to do it." So that means everybody go out and buy a Forever Family, fostering change one child at a time.
Absolutely.
But yeah, he's a saint.
I got a question for you. Paint the picture.
Sure.
Because I believe that when the day comes, which it inevitably will for all of us, when we transition, that bridge from this world into what is next will be just covered with murals of our fondest memories. And so I want you to take us back and just part the curtain if you could, and give everybody a glimpse inside what it felt like and what it looked like as best you can that very first Christmas morning as a Forever Family. I know you see it like it was just 5 minutes ago. So I'm going to dip out and let you take us there, if you would.
Yeah. As a kid who grew up that didn't, have birthdays or Christmases that really meant anything, I remember that first Christmas morning. And I remember as I laid in bed because I couldn't sleep all night because I was waiting for my little baby's little feet to run down the hallway and run into our master bedroom. I remember that. I remember as I watched them come down the stairs to this big Christmas tree with full of presents and just seeing their eyes wide open. And as my husband was holding our baby at the time, I remember that. And I remember every Christmas. But the one thing that I will have to tell you as I paint that picture, as I see that picture, is my son, Alex, my oldest son. I remind Alex all the time that I am the luckiest person in the world because I'm a father to 5 of the most amazing children. And I have one regret, only one. And that regret is that I didn't get to hold the hand of my oldest son when he went to kindergarten. And that day is the thing that I only regret because all of my other babies, I walked him into kindergarten. But my son, because he arrived at 18 and nobody ever walked him into kindergarten, I didn't get to walk him into kindergarten. But he knows how much his pops loves him.
Yeah, how can he not? Let's talk about we got some time. We got about 6 minutes. Take us through from the whatever order you want to do it in, but using a one-word descriptive as far as what each of these children's superpower would be. I'd love to hear that. It shows the diversity and the beauty and all of that. So how would you list that?
Oh my gosh. Okay, we were going to start. Let's
Kind of
start from
point
the
to them behind you so we know who you're talking about.
let's start from the youngest. This is Tristan.
Okay.
And his superpower is strength. Okay. This is my son Makai, and his superpower is just look at that smile, first of all.
Yeah.
His superpower is kindness.
Oh.
Okay. This is my beautiful boy Grayson, and his superpower is he's empathetic. He's got such an empathy, it's unbelievable. This is my sweet, beautiful princess, Amaya. And Amaya, she's a warrior, a total warrior. And that's what I love about her. And then this is our son, Alex. And for Alex, I would truly say his superpower is his leadership because as a big brother, he absolutely wraps his arms around his siblings. And when people come to our home and they see our family, they're in just awe that they all didn't grow up together as babies because they have such a bond. And that bond comes a lot from their leader brother, who is their big brother who watches over them because he loves his family.
You know what, Rob? You are so blessed. You have an anointed journey. All of you do. And I just, as we prepare to conclude today's episode, I want us to leave remembering what's most important. I remember the moment someone taught me. I'll never forget it. It was in Phoenix, Arizona, and I was about 30 years old when a friend looked at me and she said, Lauren, we were in the jacuzzi. She lived in the same apartment complex, and she said, you mean to tell me you don't know that there's a difference between family and relatives? And I said, there is, because I was still looking for my birth family at the time. Would find them 2 years later. And I think this was the jet fuel that really propelled me into the arms of purpose. When she said to me, family, no matter where you find them, will always be based in love. Relatives, those are the ones that are based in blood. And there was a difference, and it made so much sense, and it gave me so much hope. And, so many of us judge ourselves in ways that are just totally not accurate. I say that to you who is out there and you have all this space. You have space in your heart. You have space in your home. And you want to, but you don't think you're good enough. I couldn't do it. I'm not strong enough. Rob, if you could give a line of encouragement to someone who is thinking possibly that they may be willing to share their life or lives, as the case may be, with a child who would find it nowhere else. Well, what would you say to them to give them that extra little push?
There's two things I would actually say to them, Lauren. Number one, I would remind them that if you invest in a child today, you actually invest in your future for tomorrow. You truly do. If you invest in a child today, you invest in your future tomorrow. And if you just change a child's life for just one day, what an impact that you can make. But what your listeners and your viewers need to know, and what we all need to take away, you do not have to know someone to love someone.
Amen. And on that note, well, you guys, I think it's pretty clear, or at least I hope it becomes clearer. It doesn't matter who we love, what gender, what race, what age, what economic level, what education level. Love, true love, I believe to be the most powerful force in the universe. And so use that to do what you need to do, to be who you need to be. Rob, I just love this story. I can't wait for all the things that are yet to come. Man, I feel like you're a living, breathing version of a This Is Us kind of thing. And I know there's some Modern Family in there too. And I just You're an inspiration. You guys on your screen, scrolling along the bottom on Facebook, head over if you want to donate or just go in there and peek around a little bit, see how you can be of service to Comfort Cases. There you go. Also on Facebook, Rob Scheer.
It's
And
actually Rob_Scheer. So
Oh,
just
it
so
is?
that you know, it's Rob_Scheer.
Well, you gave me that.
No, I gave you underscore. I'm looking at it.
I copied and pasted. Nice try. We're going to go back.
It's right there. I see. I did the colon.
Here's the, I know. I told you. I was like, I tried to copy paste. Trick no good. Right. I'm 60. I try to get out of as much work as possible.
Oh, I love you.
But here we go. Also on IG. There it is. Rob_Scheer. You guys, the book, Rob, tell them where they can find it.
You know what? The book is available of Forever Family. You can actually get the book at Barnes and Nobles, on Amazon. It's
a real book, y'all.
What is that?
I said that it's a real book. It's in the bookstores.
It's a real book. It's in bookstores. Paperback came out about a year ago, and stay tuned to some more exciting news as you follow. If you follow me on Instagram at Rob_Scheer, because I'd love to hear that you actually read the book. And by the way, 100% of the book goes to Comfort Cases.
There it is. There it is.
That's it, my friend.
Right. It is one humdinger of an experience. Go and get the book today. Get on that ride. You'll be glad you took it. And speaking of rides, ride your way into the most wonderful weekend ever. Don't get caught up just playing around on your phone. Don't get caught up just watching TV. Don't get me wrong. Get your enjoyment, have some entertainment, but also have a conversation with someone in your world that truly matters. It's called unconditional love, and we've experienced it. Rob, thank you. My best to all your family. I can't wait. Rob is also going to be in September. You'll hear him on the podcast License for Love with my good friend and co-host Cowboy Jax Young out of Nashville. Looking forward to that. I'll let you know as we get closer to that date. Get out there today. Be the very best you can be. Take great to greater, bright to brighter, strong to stronger, and bold to bolder. I'll see you Monday morning out on the front porch at 8 a.m. Central, where we'll do it all again in our next episode of Bathrobe Moments. Have a great weekend. Thanks, Rob. Bye-bye.